on the News Channel 5 network. This is SCORE on Business.
Hey, welcome to SCORE on Business. I'm Pete Hendricks. I'm your host today and a serial entrepreneur. Many prospective entrepreneurs aren't sure where to start. We'll start providing a tip on each show. Also, SCORE offers low-cost classes and no-charge counseling specifically to guide folks through thinking about starting and succeeding in business. More information is available at scorenashville.org. Make sure to check out the workshops. They are usually on weekends and $25 a pop. Your tip for this show: talk to some prospective customers who aren't your friends, because your friends will tell you that your idea is awesome, and ask them for some completely honest feedback. This will go a long way in determining whether your idea is feasible. Now, let's get down to our guest. John McNeely is President and CEO of Sword and Shield Enterprise Security, which he co-founded 20 years ago with two business partners. They serve a national base of commercial and federal customers such as Scripps Networks, Citrix Systems, Shriners Hospitals, the Department of Defense, the FBI, and the State Department. They play a vital role in helping clients defend against cyber threats and manage security and compliance programs. And John, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Pete.
Yeah, so you started as a company of 3, and now you have roughly 70, which is, you know, doing very well for an entrepreneur. You're growing close to 30% annually.
Right.
What are some of the most important lessons you've learned about growing a business?
Well, you know, this year marks our 20th year in business.
Yeah.
Starting in 1997. Major milestone for us, and
absolutely,
it's been quite an adventure.
Oh, yeah.
As many entrepreneurs and business owners can appreciate all the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And through all of that, a few things that I can share. One is the passion and the drive. Mm-hmm. So entrepreneurs, business owners always start with some passion and drive and that great idea that they have. And what we found is that you have to have that same passion and drive every day, whether it's the first day of your business or the 20th year. So, it's really critical for success.
Anyone who thinks that they'll start a business and it'll be easier than having a boss, they are not getting it.
No, it has its challenges every day, but we do it because we love it and we're very passionate about what we do and believe in that. A few other things too to share just in what we've learned. One is, as I talk to other entrepreneurs that are starting out, really encourage them to think about what they want their business to be, but think about the team that they're going to build. Mm-hmm. And I call it build a team and not a rock star. Right. Because many entrepreneurs try to do so much on their own, and it's as if they're trying to be that rock star. They're trying to be, the next Jeff Bezos or someone like that. But you really have to build a team, and you have to be purposed about that. And so over the years, we've built a great team at Sword and Shield. I have a great leadership team around me. Our frontline staff are great. And at every level of the company, it's always been purposed about finding those right people and building a great team. And that really helps the company grow. Would also say focus. It's real easy to start out into business and you've got that idea and you believe in it and you roll it out and you don't quite get the traction that you're looking for and the time that you're looking for. I say be patient. Of course, listen to your customers, and you may have to pivot, which we've done a number of times, but don't get distracted. And I see a number of businesses that will get distracted, and we succumb to that at times as well, where we start to see so many opportunities that we start to spread ourselves too thin in resources, and we really have to pull that back. Our best growth has always come whenever we've really stayed committed and focused on the new services and products that we were rolling out to our customers.
That makes perfect sense. As entrepreneurs, we're usually ADHD and come up with a million ideas.
Exactly.
But it really comes down to execution and focus. That's not to say you're not going to have to pivot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. Anything else on that question?
The other thing I would say is, especially for a startup company where, again, it's the roller coaster, right? You have those days where it's an emotional high, those days where it's an emotional low. is don't let the fear of failure control you.
Right.
You know, even in 20 years of business, we still take risk. You know, the things that we're doing are not always guaranteed, but we can't let fear control us, that fear of failure. We always look at the opportunity, the possibilities of success, and you have to embrace that from the top down. But that's the kind of culture that you want to build.
You know, I've gotten to the point where I embrace failure. It's where you learn the hard lessons.
Happen.
It's gonna happen.
Sure, it will happen, and it's better to fail fast and learn from it and move on.
Right.
But don't fear failing and get stuck in a paralysis.
Yeah.
That's the danger.
Good. Good. Well, let's see. So cyber security threats were a lot smaller in the mid-90s when you started Sword and Shield. What was the need you saw in the marketplace, and how did you determine that this need could be a viable business long term?
Yeah, the mid-90s in particular were a very interesting time, one of those unique times in history where everything was just right, and the internet commercialization was huge. Just an opportunity that doesn't come along very often. So businesses were seeing the opportunity, rushing to get connected to the internet, rolling out those first web applications on the internet. And what I saw and what our founder James Goldston saw, because we both came from a background where we had been on the internet during its research days, knew how open the internet was, knew how insecure really the underlying protocols were and the infrastructure was. So we saw that there was an opportunity for a company to focus on network security and help those companies that were moving to the internet be secure, because many weren't quite sure what they were signing up for from a security standpoint. So with that basic idea, launched the company and just went about our mission of helping companies to be secure. It was one of those pivot moments. We started thinking that, well, the governance side of security would be really important for companies, and everybody wanted to have a conversation about, I need a firewall. It was much more technical in nature, and so we certainly pivoted, listened to the customer, and developed technical services and solutions around that. Got traction really very early. Again, the normal early startup years of up and down, but got some really good traction, and with each account that we won, just gained more confidence. And I think the point where we really saw that this was going to work long term, we were going to be able to build that long-term sustainable company, is when one of our larger federal accounts did a sole source contract with us, multi-year, great revenue for us. It just really boosted our confidence that a small company in East Tennessee, outside the Beltway, was able to secure a contract of that size.
Yeah. We may come back to this one, but I want to get to the next one in case we run out of time. What would you say to a CEO or company owner, and we're talking, you know, from entrepreneur to still small business, maybe 20 people, what would you say to them about how to protect their company?
Yeah, good question. Well, cybersecurity is a big issue today. Like you mentioned, in the 90s, it was an issue, but maybe not as big, and today we're just seeing with the connectivity that we have, it's even bigger. A lot of the headlines drive a lot of fear about ransomware attacks and data that's lost and data that's held hostage, and you hear about Russia hacking, China hacking, you hear all these things. And so for a business owner, it's like, well, how does this affect me? What we find is that a lot of business owners are just trying to understand the problem for one, but also figuring out where to start. How do I prioritize this? How do I spend on this? We work with companies, especially that are smaller, and encourage them to find a good regional cloud provider, IT provider. Find somebody that can really help you take on that problem, because I can tell you that you're not going to have enough time and resource to deal with this like you need to on a day-by-day basis.
Yeah, I mean, even if the company is big enough to have an IT resource, security is a lot bigger. It's complicated.
It is. It's a lot bigger, and for those companies that they do have the staff, what we find too is that their resources are spread so thin, they still can't adequately address the problem. And I'm talking about companies that are up in the Fortune 500 level as well. So we like to start with a conversation around 3 simple things: protect, detect, and respond. Talking to a company about how do you protect? How do you protect the data that you have? How do you protect your brand? We talk about those proactive controls that a company needs to really have a sound cybersecurity approach. Then we move to detection. It's not enough just to have the controls. You have to monitor those controls, and you have to look for ways that cyber attacks could be circumventing the things that you have in place. You have to have detection mechanisms, because with the way we have architectures today, smartphones, tablets, data is on the move and very hard to lock down. So you want to have the ability to monitor that. Then response is the third piece, and response is critical. It's overlooked a lot of times, but response could be the difference between having a small security incident to deal with versus a very large security incident. So we work with companies to have incident handling procedures, to go through the process, to do some wargaming exercises, really kind of practice when a cyber event happens, and so you find out where your weaknesses are in an exercise and not whenever the real event is happening.
Oh, yeah. John, thanks a million for being here.
Glad to be.
Love to have you back.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a break, and we will be right back.